Monkey or goat? Monster of gravel, mother of greatness. What is a MOG? Well, a MOG, as of today, is Envy's brand new and first ever gravel bike. Geometry-wise, it sits kind of in the middle of the spectrum from road racy to super slacked out crazy monster gravel. We got a 71.25 head tube, clearance for up to 50 mil tires, internal routing so it's nice and clean, and internal storage. It comes with 2 bags. You can get it built up however your favorite retailer builds it up. Envy is just selling this as a chassis, which means frame, fork, headset, stem, bar, seat post. We're out here today in Southern California giving it a taste test. Let's see how this thing rides. First, I want to give you some details on the bike and then give you my ride impressions. Today I followed, or should I say tried to follow, Alexi Vermeulen as we rode part of the Belgian Waffle Ride California course, where Alexi won just last year on the Envy Melee before that thing was launched. So, give you some of my ride impressions, but let's talk details first. Following the launch of that Melee, which finally came out publicly last year, and the Custom Road, which came before it, the MOG is Envy's first all-around gravel bike, designed not to be a race bike or a bike packing bike, but all the things. The MOG features 50 millimeters of tire clearance, fender and rack mounts, dropper post compatibility, and internal routing. This 56 frame weighs 950 grams and built up with Campagnolo Ekar, comes in at under 18 pounds for a size 56 with 47 mil tires. Similar to the Specialized Diverge or the Trek Checkpoint, the Envy MOG has got internal storage underneath the bottle cage. You flip a little lever on the frame, and inside you can store 2 bags that come with the bike, both which have little zippers and little internal pockets, which are nice for holding small bits. Jake Pantone, the Vice President of Product and Brand for Envy, says he likes to stick his shake dry jacket in the top part of the down tube and then flat fixings down below. Nice feature we're seeing from an increasing number of high-end gravel bikes these days. Let's talk numbers. Envy MOG's head tube is 71.25 with the 55 millimeter of rake. That translates to between 60 and 66 millimeters of trail from a 35 to a 50 mil tire respectively. For context, most gravel race bikes have head tubes in the 72 degree range, and then trail figures will be in the high 50s to the mid 60s. So the MOG is right in the mix there for the racy end of gravel bikes. What's different, however, is that most of those race bikes have limited tire clearance. Like a Cervelo Aspero, for instance, will top out at 42. This can run up to a 50. For such a high tire volume accommodating bike, it's got a relatively short wheelbase at 104.2 in a 56 centimeter size. It's not the shortest gravel bike out there. Like a Cervelo Aspero 5, for instance, is like in the 102 range, but that bike maxes out on a 42 mil tire. So what I'm trying to convey here is that this bike sits well in the middle of the gravel range with the intention of being able to be a racy bike, but still be your all-day, all-week bike packing bike with room for big girthy tires if you so choose. Last number, then I'll talk about feel. 420 chainstays are pretty short for a bike that can take 50 mil tires. Some of that is done by running the rear derailleur cable up outside of the frame underneath the chainstay protectors, which is the chainstay on the drive side is really thin, so you can still have relatively short chainstay and that big tire clearance without a aggressively dropped chainstay. So how does the thing ride? Well, I've been watching Alexi ride and race his for a while now. He won Belgian Waffle Ride Michigan on it. He won Old Man Winter Rally, a gravel race in Lyons, Colorado just a few weeks ago on his bike. And he's also been showing up on road rides. Like he came to my Biscochito ride in January on his MOG, but with slick tires on there. Today was my first day riding the bike. We did a mix of pavement and dirt road and some chunky washed out trail, sometimes at mellow speed and sometimes at Alexi Vermeulen full gas speed.
The dirt is incredible, so good, and we were just ripping the single track on bikes that it's made for.
Are you hiding from the wind?
Yeah, Jess is helping us hide from the wind.
Nice.
And Ben was like pushing me. He was like, "You're going too slow, you're going too slow, go faster." And I was like, "I can't go any faster, Ben."
Trade you.
Look at him.
That's not what I was saying.
I was like, "Oh God, we're gonna die." I did almost kill Ben and go into a hole.
Yeah, following these guys is fun until you realize you're in way over your head. Not just with the speed, but like the handling, you know? So he's going A speed, which is hard for me to pedal, but then all of a sudden there's like rocks and gaps appear, and he's like, wait! I'm like, oh! I say things besides wait.
So the problem is you trying to go with it.
Correct, correct. Yeah. Yeah. Ego way bigger than the skills or the fitness.
In short, I really like how the bike feels. I tend to like racier bikes. Maybe that's just because I've ridden road bikes for so long. I appreciate being able to get my body into a more forward position. This accommodates that. It has progressive geometry up top, so like a 56mm bike, for instance, has a 57 top tube, which lets it feel a little more stable. The combination of the relatively short chainstays and the quicker handling makes it feel lively and nimble, whether that's out of the saddle on the pavement or just jumping around rocks on dirt trails. In terms of comfort, there's a bit of give to the 27.2 carbon Envy seat post. It's certainly not the comfiest, coziest bike I've ridden. Like a Giant Revolt or a Checkpoint has markedly more flex underneath you, but this isn't a harsh bike by any means. Similarly up front, you can get the bike with a number of different Envy bars, all of which now accommodate the internal routing tip to tail. I know internal routing is a hot subject for some folks. My take is this: it can be a pain to install it or work on it, but it makes the bike visually clean and also just easier to clean, which is what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. So everybody's got to take on internal routing, and that is mine. I like it. The slightly flared bars, for me, that's the sweet spot. I don't like the full-on G bars. That feels too mountain bikey. I don't need a 36 bar like on the BMC Caius, but a bar that's skinny up top and a bit of flare in the drops feels nice. Envy has a lot of branded finishing touches. The stem is made in conjunction with K-Edge. You almost have to go with the stem because the bars don't really accommodate a normal computer clamp because the flat parts go right up almost to the stem, but K-Edge makes excellent products, so you're not in bad hands there. Similarly, the Celitalia saddle is Envy branded, made by Celitalia. I've got that on my Envy custom road bike. Love how that thing feels, so that part feels just like home. The bike I tested today has Campagnolo Ekar, the 1x13 mechanical group. I'm decidedly meh on Ekar. The braking is awesome. I love the feel of Campy's hydraulic brakes, both the modulation and the power at the rotors, and then just the shape of the levers. I love the shifting. Like even on a new bike, it's just kind of spotty. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So coming off of Shimano Di2 or SRAM ETAP Axis, where you're never gonna get an accidental shift, here it's not quite up to snuff in my humble opinion. The bike is sold for $5,500 as a chassis. That is frame, fork, headset, bar, stem, seat post. Envy says it hopes to sell complete bikes in the future, but right now, coming out of the post-pandemic world, still can't get its hands on all the bits and pieces and parts, so complete bikes will be sold through your local or your online retailer. But the chassis, which I just listed, is $5,500, and the prices will go up from there for a complete bike. Envy builds its custom road and many of its high-end wheels in Ogden, Utah, and then the Melee and the MOG are built in China in a factory that Envy co-owns with Pon. Pond, as you may know, is the owner of a number of bike brands, including Cervelo and Focus and Cannondale and Gazelle, and on and on. Envy does testing at the factory there, and then also does testing in its Utah factory to make sure that the numbers line up both for stiffness and fatigue, as well as overall strength and safety. So is the MOG the one gravel bike to rule them all? We shall see. The clearance skews towards monster gravel, but the bike doesn't have any weird looking proportions. It's comfortable, but not the flexiest, and it's got progressive geo with racy positioning. If you don't like a fully slammed position, an upright stem still with the internal routing is coming. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and stay tuned for more bike tests inside events. We've got Belgian Waffle Ride Arizona coming up, followed by the Mid-South, and many more to come. We'll see you out there. Enjoy the ride. Similar to the, be quiet! Sorry, I'm just gonna try to warm up so I'm not like shivering weirdly. I thought San Diego was always 65 degrees. WTF. I'm gonna need to speak to San Diego's manager.